Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/Surviving Infidelity, where we encounter a questionable Reddit post. Let's begin. An emotional affair is seen as not really cheating. Posted by Reddit user Agreeable Emu.
It's been about a year since the breakup. My ex-husband had an affair that was emotional only as far as I know. 1 to 2 weeks after he left me, he started a physical relationship with the affair partner. Whenever the topic of my divorce comes up in conversation, I tell the truth but without much detail. I usually say something like my ex decided to have an affair with a coworker, so we split up. Sometimes they ask further, and I tell them the affair was not physical. When they find out this info, some people react like, oh okay, so he wasn't really cheating then. Whenever this happens, I feel very invalidated. It seems that they think it was an unfortunate breakup, but at least he did things in the right order. But no, developing strong feelings for someone else and then refusing to break or reduce contact with her was cheating. He put his potential relationship with her above our existing marriage. Texting her, during one of our dates, that he'd much rather be dancing with her and holding her that night was cheating. He was actively flirting with her while discarding me. Telling her he loved her was cheating. Wondering out loud how well their interior design styles would go together if they ever were to live together was cheating. He was planning his future with her, sharing the contents of our private conversations and therapy sessions with her, and at the same time protecting her privacy by not telling me about what exactly was going on with her was cheating. He was teaming up with her and detaching himself from me. Then there were a bunch of things that were maybe not cheating per se, but forms of abuse that resulted directly from the cheating. Gaslighting, invalidating my feelings, comparing me to his affair partner, telling me that she was the only thing that ever made him happy, telling me I was blocking him from being happy, not accepting any responsibility, checking out mentally and not being able to support me, using me for sex while already having decided on leaving but not telling me yet, etc. I want those people to understand how much hurt and abuse I have to unlearn, how I do have a trauma to work through, but they seem to think I'm overreacting or something. And it makes me doubt myself. Am I overreacting? I'm not sure if I should even try to make people understand, instead of just letting them think I'm overreacting and go on with my day. Am I just trying to convince myself? Other people that survived an emotional affair, do you recognize these attitudes of people around you? Do those same thoughts or doubts come up? How do you deal with them?
OP, yes, an affair is still an affair. Cheating is still cheating regardless if sex is involved. Look man, if you want to stop people from saying the dumb things you mentioned on your post, then stop differentiating between emotional and physical affairs when you talk to them. Just say he cheated on you and left you for someone else. You're making it more complicated than it is. And now for today's second story. She cheated with my roommate and then the cops. Posted by Reddit user Omniman2023.
I was living in a dorm-style house with a bunch of other college students and travelers. I started dating this girl in the house after about a month or two of being there. She was funny and liked similar things I did. We would spend a lot of time together, basically 24/7. When she would go to work, I would go to her job and wait. We slept in the same beds, had lots of sex. One day I was feeling moody and needed some space. I told her I was going to the gym and then the park. She asked me to buy her a bottle of vodka before I left, so I did. I went and worked out and played ball. When I got home I crawled into bed with her. I fell asleep cuddling her. When we woke up we were cuddling, and I told her how much I liked her and how I saw us having a future. She stopped me mid-sentence and told me she cheated with one of the guys in the house while I was at the gym. She said she was so drunk and mad at me and it was one of my roommates that I was close to. I was furious. I called her every name in the book. She apologized and said she is sorry. She begged me to stay with her. I was cursing up a storm. She locked herself in her room, then told me to leave the house because she didn't feel safe. After an hour she called the cops and told them I was threatening her. I left the house for the night and stayed at a friend's to cool down. When I returned the next day, she saw me but didn't say anything. She texted me and asked if I was okay and can we please talk. She came downstairs and we went outside to talk. She said she was lonely and drunk. She was mad I didn't want to spend the day with her. She said let's give it another try. For a month we went on dates and had sex. Then one day while drunk she told me she fucked the cop who came to the house for me. She gave him her number and they went on a date the next day. For the next couple months, I used her for a hookup then dumped her. She begged me to be with her, but it was already too late. The trust was broken.
This story is fake as hell. I'm not even gonna bother giving an opinion here. This OP has been posting fake stories for a few days now. But I have to admit, this one in particular is a little bit entertaining at least. And now for today's final story. I have begun to suspect my wife of 7 years is cheating on me with a former co-worker. Am I imagining things or do I have cause to worry? What are my options? Posted by Reddit user Jousting with Windmill.
Note, my wife is a Redditor, so I am keeping the details as vague as I can. I have been with my now wife for over a decade, married for 7, and we have a 3-year-old child. We relocated for her job shortly after the birth of our child and have not really had much of a support system for ourselves while raising our child. My job has been virtual, so I have been able to work from home. Our work schedules are off-shifted so we can hand off childcare between the two of us while the other is at work. She has been expressing her dissatisfaction as our home life has been far from what we had envisioned with having our child. Our child is very demanding and high energy, and we have not been able to hire any caregivers or have any friends or family to watch our child and have had pretty much no child free time. She has also had some regrets about her job, which is not what she thought it would be, and the opportunities to increase her pay have not manifested as she had envisioned. She has expressed her concerns at being financially dependent on me now that we have moved to a higher cost of living area. The other day, for the first time since we have been in a relationship, she asked if she could go see a movie by herself while I watched our child. I had no issue with that as I was already going to be doing things with our child. She comes home 7 hours later in a much happier mood than I have seen her in a while, and she tells me she enjoyed the movie. I asked if she saw a couple movies because she was gone for so long, and she said no. She met up with John, a former co-worker that left her work 2 months ago. At this point I felt my stomach drop out. I found that very odd, and the 7-hour was a bit of a long time to see a movie. And while in the past she had gone to the movies with friends, she never said she was going alone. I asked if meeting with John was part of her plan, and she said yes. I asked why she said she was going alone and why she was gone for 7 hours. She said she did not think it mattered and they had a lot to catch up on. My brain asks, what does a coworker and you have to catch up on for 7 hours, especially if you last saw them at work 2 months ago, and I feel very uncomfortable. I told her that I felt a little uncomfortable with this because she did not tell me she intended to meet John. I felt that she was hiding the intent. She said I was being unreasonable and should not be jealous of her friend, and nothing happened. And she reminded me that the relationship she was in prior to being with me, she had been cheated on, and said that she would never cheat herself. She would end the relationship before doing anything like that to someone else. I would like to think that she said she was going to meet up with this former coworker, I might have been okay knowing the facts up front, but I have lost the opportunity to know how I would react in truth. At this point I have let it go and tried to be normal for the last couple of days, but I cannot let it go. I only have suspicions, and I am not sure if I am letting fears cloud my judgment. I am afraid to ask to see her text messages with John. Part of me thinks that if I can see how they coordinated the meeting and the tone of the texts may help me put this past me, but I am not sure. I could use some support. Tell me I am seeing things, or tell me my fears may be founded, and how to go about figuring out the truth without blowing things up. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I want you to listen to this comment by Reddit user Wash Impressive because he speaks the truth.
If you read these infidelity subs long enough, you learn 2 things. 1. Trust your instincts, always. 2. The most important one is never ever reveal your suspicions and are looking for clues. You automatically make your investigation twice as hard. They burrow further underground, and unbelievably they become aggressive towards you. Fight your impulse to talk about it. Start investigating silently. You'll probably find what you're sensing to be true.
Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.